Welcome everyone. In this video, we are going to perform a complete hands-on on the demonstration of installing Apache Web Server on OCI Virtual Machine. So we'll create the environment, we'll create the virtual machine, then we'll connect to the server, install the Apache, configure the necessary security rules, and we will verify the installation from the web browser. So by the end of this tutorial, you will have a working Apache web server, which is running on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So let's get started with this one. So let's log into our OCI Cloud console so that we can start the demonstration. So first we will create the virtual cloud network, which is the VCN. So the VCN is required so that we can connect to the virtual machine from the internet, and after that connecting to the virtual machine, then we will create the Apache server. So go to the navigation menu under the networking, jump into virtual cloud networks. So select your compartment. So we have designated compartment for creation of a network resource, which is network comp. So select that compartment. So make sure that you are also using the compartments in your uh, tenancy so that all the resources are grouped together, related resources are grouped together, and you can easily manage those. So we'll start the VCN wizard. So click on Actions, click on Start VCN wizard. So this one is very intuitive and very easy to create the VCN. It's a very easy VCN wizard which helps you create all these components automatically. So you just have to name few of them. All right, so we'll select this particular option, which is create VCN with internet connectivity, and click on Start VCN Wizard. So here you have to first give in the basic information, you have to give the name of your VCN, which is in our case, it's demo VCN. Select the compartment in which you want to place this particular VCN, and after that, this will be the CIDR block of your VCN. So you can give the CIDR block. This is the big network. So it has a range from 16 to 30. So this one is the big network. Under that, we have two subnets. So one is the public one, which is like by which you can connect from the internet to these resources. Private does not give any internet connectivity from the outside world. So these are the two subnetwork that will be created along with this particular VCN. So if you want, you can change the CIDR. Let's give it as like 10.0.1, and make sure that these should not be overlapping. So otherwise you will not be able to create the VCN. So let's change it to 2 so that those are not overlapping. So click on next. All right, so that's it. So all the other resources will be automatically created. So it will create these three gateways. It will create this particular subnet, private subnet. Along with that, it has this security list, and this one has the route table. This one is the security list for the public subnet, and this one is the route table for the public subnet. And these are the names for the subnet. So click on create. All right, so we can see that the VCN has now created. So click on view VCN. All right. So now because we want to install the Apache web server, so like the user can go to the browser and can access the servers. So for that, what we have to do, we have to perform one additional step in the networking section so that we should be allowing the incoming traffic on the port number 80 of all these servers. So for that, we will jump into subnets. We'll go to the public subnet because this is the subnet that will be used in our virtual machine. And here we can go to security. In the security, we'll select this particular security list. And here we can see the security rules. So now here we need to add one ingress rule, which is the rule for incoming traffic. So we'll add the incoming traffic rule. All right, so click on add ingress rules. And here we need to add the rules. So you can choose the source type. If you want, you can choose the service or the CIDR. CIDR will have the CIDR notation, allowing all the IP addresses from which the traffic can arrive. So here we have given all the IP addresses. So this one is the the CIDR block for all the IP addresses. And here you can see the list of IP addresses. So now we are allowing at the TCP port, and the destination port will be port number 80. So we can give the description allow HTTP port 80. All right. So let's add the ingress rule. So now that we have added the ingress rule, which means that whenever we will use this particular VCN in our virtual machine, so those machines will be allowing the traffic at port number 80. So now let's go to compute section, navigation menu, compute, and then instances. So change the compartment to your particular compartment, like we have designated compartment compute com. So we'll use this one. And here we will create one instance. Click on create instance. We will give the name as like Apache VM so that we know by the name what this particular VM is all about. So choose your availability domain. So we are into Ash1 region, and in Ash1 we have 3 availability domains. So we can select any of that. So let's go with AD1. And here you see we are creating this particular compute instance in this particular compartment. So this will be the image. So if you want, you can click on change image and then you can select from all these. But because we need the virtual machine, which is of type Oracle Linux, so we'll keep it selected. We can change the shape, click on change shape. So here we can go with the AMD. So it's not necessary that you change it, but just for simplicity or knowing how to change the shape. So we are selecting the AMD. If you want, you can change the OCPU count because this one is the flexible shape. So you expand this option and from here you can change it. So make it like dual core, quad core, and you can change the amount of memory as well. Click on select shape once done. So click on next. If you want to enable the shielded instance of computing, confidential computing, you can choose this option. We'll keep it disabled for now. Click on next. So here we name the VNIC, which is Apache VM VNIC. So now here in this is the networking section. In this one, we need to select the virtual cloud network. So select the compartment in which the VCN is located. So this one is the demo VCN. So select the public subnet. For that, select the compartment. And from there, you can choose the public subnet. So IPv4, which is the private IP, it will be automatically assigned. If you want, you can choose this option, which is manually assign the private IP address, and you can give your own IP address. We'll keep the default as automatic. So this option will automatically assign the public IP address. And here we need to add the SSH keys. So as in the previous tutorial, so we already generated the public key pairs, public and private key pairs. So we'll simply paste the public key here. So if you want to know how to do that, so you can watch the previous videos. All right, so let's put the public key here. So this is in this particular format, SSH-RSA and the key. So click on next. So if you want to change the boot volume, so you can check this option, and then you can from here you can increase or the particular boot volume for your instance. So let's keep the default one. You can also attach the block volumes. So we don't want to, so click on next. So just to review your information, and after that click on create button. So this will create your Apache VM. So it will take some time. So you can go to detail sections, and here you'll be able to see the public IP address. So for that, to connect to this system, we need putty. So let me open the putty. So this one is the putty, and this is the version. So we already saved few configurations, so we can choose from that. So select the configuration and click on load. So change the IP address to this one, which is our public IP. And if you want like that, you can name it. Just change the name of the saved session and click on save. So basically the saved session is having all the details like SSH. So under the connection, expand SSH, authorization, and here in authentication. So here we have credential, and this is the PPK key that is being used. So go to sessions again. And so there is one more customization that you can do is you go to colors and choose this use system colors so that the background will be white for your virtual machine login. So now you can save it. So this will override the previous saved session. So now let's see whether it is up and running. And here we can see the status has changed to running, which means that this particular virtual machine is now able, we can connect to it. So by default, like if you go to the networking section, so this particular uses this particular subnet and route table. And here, if we go to the public subnet, so we go to security, and this is the default security list. So we can select this one. And under the security rules, we can see that which all connectivity options, which all traffic is allowed. And here we can see that SSH protocol, which is port number 22, is already allowed. So that's the reason when we want to connect, so we will be able to connect because the SSH port is already allowed. So click on open now. So first time it will ask to host to cache the host key. So click accept option. And by default, the user for our virtual machine is OPC. So use OPC. So here we can see that it has authenticated with our this particular public key because we use the private key. And now here we can see that we are now connected. So now let's use this particular public IP for our compute machine. So go to instances, and here we can see this is the public IP. So let's copy this one. So here right now what we are doing, we are trying to access this particular machine from the internet using web browser. So this one is the protocol TCP and port is 80. So we are not able to open it. It is not responding because the Apache server is not installed. So now we will install the Apache server. So let's start the installation. So this is how we will install the Apache server. So we need to run this particular command. So what it command is, so this basically install the Apache server, which is HTTPD package on Oracle Linux, CentOS or RHEL. And also the Y option. So it basically means that it will automatically answers yes to all the installation prompts which will be happening. So we need not to uh, give the prompt as yes, it will automatically give it in the background. So simply we need to run this particular command. So let's run this command. So it will install all the packages for Apache. So it will take some time to install all the packages. All right, so now we can see that the installation has been completed. So this basically installs the Apache Web Server. So next is the command for running the Apache. So this basically starts the Apache Web Server immediately so that it can begin serving the web pages. So this is the command. So let's run this command on our virtual machine. All right. So this one is completed. So next command is for configuring the Apache to start automatically. So whenever Linux machine will reboot, so you can run this command so that it will automatically restart the Apache. All right, so this one is also completed. So next command is just to check like whether all the configuration files are syntax error free and without restarting the services, and expected output is it should display syntax okay. So let's check the configuration of our Apache. All right, so it has responded as a syntax okay, which means that installation is error free. So next command is to allow the HTTP traffic through the firewall. So basically we are adding the permanent firewall rule to allow the HTTP traffic at port number 80 through Linux firewall. So simply run this command. Let's copy this one and run it here. So now we can see that it has triggered it, and the next command will be So simply to reload the firewall configuration so that a newly loaded configuration rules are in place. We need not to restart our particular virtual machine, so it will automatically load all the configurations. All right, so it has responded as success, which is okay. So now let's retry to hit the port number 80. So simply put the public IP address of your virtual machine and click reload here. So Apache has been loaded. So one step that we have left is to display the message. So simply we will be using this command again. So which will basically insert this code into this particular file, which is index.html file. So this file will be displayed when we hit the public IP. So let's add these words, these lines into index.html. Right, and what we need to do next is simply open the browser and just use this particular command, or simply put the IP address, that the same thing. So this is the IP, and sometime if it is not opening, so just add HTTP in the beginning. So here we can see that this is not responding. So let's check our configuration, like if something we have missed it. So here we can see that we got one error here. So which means that there is some error with this particular command. So let's check. So here basically we need to give equal to, so that the zone is the public. So let's rerun this command again. All right, so let me correct it. So it says that, so here also add services HTTP, zone is public, and add services HTTP. So let's run this command. So now we can see it's success. All right, so just reload these firewall changes. So again, this one is success. And now we already ran this command. So now let's retry here. All right. So here we can see that we are now able to hit the public IP address of our virtual machine. And now here we can see that we are able to see the display message, which is welcome Gurpreet Singh. The reason for this one is because we added these lines in our index.html. So now this is the index.html page which is getting displayed. So now if you want, you can fully customize this page as per your need, so that you can build one welcome page for your website and you can use it. So this is how you will install the Apache server on your virtual machines. So hope you like the video. So in case of any issues or comments, so just add the comment. So we'll be happy to resolve that. So thank you so much for watching the video.